build something like that? Well, come on, let's go watch them start construction.
Beginning in July, plans for the annual giant gingerbread house at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort are taking shape. Once complete, it will cover nearly 200 square feet of the hotel lobby. It takes a crew of 10 men, 6 full days to put the puzzle of this house together.
The actual structure is like assembling a model. Each wall section has a color stripe painted in the corner that matches its connecting piece.
60 sheets of plywood and 40 window panes make up the main structure. 1,000 feet of trim rounds things out, and once the building is complete, it's ready for some siding. It's crafted back in the Grand Floridian kitchen, where bakers began making gingerbread months ago.
In August, we start making our honey doughs, which is the base dough for the gingerbread itself. And that dough needs to rest for about a month.
The honey dough is just that, a simple blend of flour and honey. More than 1,000 pounds of honey and 800 pounds of flour go into the gingerbread for this giant house. In September, the honey dough base begins transforming into gingerbread. This means breaking each batch into several workable blocks and mixing it with 24 pounds of bread flour, ginger spices, sugar syrup, yeast, and 24 whole eggs. The dough rolls thin in a machine called a sheeter. And then the baker turns carpenter, using a mallet and cookie cutter to hammer out shingle-shaped siding. Pans of the dough are then pushed into the oven for baking. It takes 400 hours to bake the nearly 2,000 pounds of gingerbread. Once cool, each shingle is set in a thin layer of chocolate, giving it a coating of a rich mortar on the bottom. Back out at the house, the carpenters are finishing up. But before they go, they have to take special measures to make sure the gingerbread will stick.
The surface has to be rough. It can't be a smooth surface.
Okay, so the frame is up. But what about all the gingerbread? Well, hang on, because a little later we'll show you how they cover it all up with over 10,000 pieces. And you may be surprised at how they get it all to stick. But first, check out a chocolate boardwalk and take a ride on the sweetest carousel you've ever seen when our look at Disney's holiday treats returns.
If you think your Christmas tree is big, get a load of this one. Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa has a 40-foot tree in the lobby, complete with 45,000 sparkling lights.
Welcome back to a special hour of holidays at Walt Disney World. Right now, I'm at Disney's Boardwalk Resort, just waiting to check out its candy replica. It's a tiny boardwalk made almost entirely of chocolate. And believe me, it is too beautiful to take a bite.
We know we're in Florida, but Disney's Boardwalk Resort looks like it's plucked straight off the Jersey Shore. It's modeled after a 1930s Atlantic coast village. And each holiday season, 5 chefs spend 400 hours over 3 months creating a replica of the resort. Just like a real boardwalk, this confectionery version contains a roller coaster, candy carousel, and even a Ferris wheel, all made out of chocolate. 80 pounds of chocolate and 200 pounds of gingerbread go into this seaside town. One of the trickiest parts? The actual boards for the boardwalk. In fact, back in the bakery, they used some unusual tools to put together the 40-plus chocolate planks.
You just take a wood grinder that you get at your local hardware store, and you take some thin plastic, put down a line of the chocolate, then take your wood grainer, slide it down like you would on any faux finish, rocking it to get your knots.
Then a layer of melted white chocolate pours on top. Once cool, the sheets are ready for cutting into foot-long strips, creating a realistic-looking wooden walkway. In the resort lobby, workers begin constructing a 12-foot platform base. The first piece moving in, the 8-foot-long roller coaster. Next, the 5-foot-tall chocolate-covered Ferris wheel is put in place, along with 6 gingerbread buildings, and finally, the carousel. Royal icing serves as snow and cement, holding everything in place. Enjoying all the fun are 30 people each, standing just inches tall and hand-carved out of chocolate.
And the children, of course, they get all crazy. And I think the guests, they stay there sometimes for 30 minutes and just look at the intricate little pieces they can find there.
And if you look close enough, you'll see that even a solid chocolate Santa is along for the ride.
The Sweet Boardwalk is just one of many edible displays at Walt Disney World this time of year. While most carousels are made of wood, during the holidays you can find one that's baked up as well. Let's go watch as gingerbread horses make for one sweet ride.
While gingerbread houses are a common holiday sight, Disney's Yacht and Beach Club places a life-size gingerbread carousel at center stage. It's made out of 2,000 cookies and takes months of work. Beginning back in July, the Disney chefs start crafting the horses. Each one takes a full week to complete and is made from 50 pounds of chocolate and sugar. Even the manes and tails are crafted from candy.
I rolled the chocolate out real thin. I cut me off small strips. Then I take it and I wind it around.
Each steed has its own tack, hand-painted with rich colors.
It's actually gold. Gold is edible. You can eat gold.
By November, the horses are ready to roll, and the conductor takes his place.
This is a chocolate solid Mickey. The Mickey always goes on top of the carousel. That's very important. He's in charge.
Next, Chef Stefan begins laying gingerbread shingles for the carousel's roof. It takes 1,200 shingles to cover the roof, and the construction project always attracts a hungry crowd.
Oh, I want to eat the roof.
The smell is just fantastic. Unfortunately, we can smell it on the TV.
Next, icing provides a green garnish.
It's gonna give a grass effect.
And sugar flowers add a touch of color. Topping things off, 44 Mickey Mouse flags from around the globe. Each one is a gingerbread cookie covered in colorful marzipan. And if you look closely, you'll find a few other Mickeys hiding out. It's a surprise Disney hides in many of its displays, which guests try to hunt out.
It's always what we do for our guests, to find the 5 hidden Mickeys in our carousel. It's now our 5th year, that's why I put 5 hidden Mickeys.
Just ahead in this hour, we'll travel to Epcot and discover some of the more unusual holiday traditions and tastes from around the world. Plus, party with Mickey Mouse and his friends in their holiday best. We'll go behind the scenes to see how Disney cooks up a really big bash. Stick around for more holidays at Walt Disney World Resort. At Disney MGM Studios, check out the Osborne Family Spectacle of Lights, based on an amazing family display originally from Little Rock, Arkansas. It takes a crew of 18 electricians, 14 weeks to hang the millions and millions of lights, including 6 miles of rope lights.
Welcome back. I'm Raven Symone, celebrating the season with a special hour at Walt Disney World. And here at Epcot, you can get a taste of holiday traditions from around the world. Plus, when evening comes, make a reservation that gives a whole new meaning to the term candlelight dinner.
Year-round, Disney's Epcot Resort is the short version of a trip around the world, with an estimated 9 million visitors per year. But over the holidays, it's also a glimpse at the seasonal festivities around the globe.
Every year we do this.
You get to see how each country celebrates Christmas. It's awesome.
Beginning with the 65-foot tree, complete with holiday greetings in 30 languages, each of the 11 countries in Epcot's World Showcase highlights holiday traditions back home.
At each pavilion, you'll find a storyteller, and it's a story that's indigenous to the people of that country.
I am Père Noël. I am the French Santa Claus. I am Father Christmas, the good spirit of the season.
In Germany, it's all about the food.
Frohe Weihnachten, happy holidays from Germany.
But when looking for good eats in Epcot, some visitors get a little tongue-tied.
I would go with wine slice.
I think it means hot dog house.
Weichelsstadt.
It's actually pronounced Weihnachtszeit, and it means Christmas time in German. So it only makes sense that they're selling German specialties like knockwurst and goulash topped with tiny dumplings called Spätzle. Another German tradition is the pickle ornament. That's right, a single pickle is hidden on every tree, and the first child to find it on the Christmas morning gets a special gift. When it comes to eating your way around the world, there's Mickey Mouse gingerbread and hot apple cider. And some families create their own traditions.
We go to each country and we get one of their chocolates and we take it back, and on Christmas Eve, all the family gets together and we try a chocolate from each country.
Crossing the Atlantic into Epcot's Mexico Pavilion, there is traditional holiday turkey, but here it's smothered in pumpkin seed sauce. And no matter which country you choose, you can combine your dinner with a reservation for Epcot's famous candlelight processional.
You will eat at a restaurant, be brought over to America Gardens Theater, and there are reserved seats for those people who have purchased the dining packages.
The Candlelight Processional is a nightly extravaganza that more than 500,000 people catch every holiday season. It features various celebrities retelling the Christmas story.
And the angel said to her, "Fear not, Mary."
Topping it off, a massive choir and 50-piece orchestra.
It is really the most beautiful place to be for the holidays.
Okay, now I am really in the holiday mood. Oh, hey, you guys! Which means in the mood to party. That's what the holidays are all about, right? Getting together with your friends and family to celebrate. So, now you're invited behind the scenes to see how Disney gets everything cooked up for a holiday bash.
A Disney party is like no other. From the food to the festivities, and putting one together takes a lot of time and preparation. Tonight's holiday bash for 160 people is going to be held right in the middle of Epcot at the American Adventure Rotunda. Early in the day, the party prep begins with a team of florists creating incredible centerpieces to suit tonight's colonial American theme.
Our founding fathers didn't have any fresh flowers during the holiday season in the north because, of course, of the weather and without refrigeration or being able to transport flowers. So they used fruit that they had dried and saved. I'm using sugared fruit tonight, and I'm using large-headed red roses and an ivory rose.
There are 10 to 12 roses in each centerpiece, more than 100 in all. Meanwhile, in the Epcot kitchens, things are really getting cooking with a traditional holiday meal.
Tonight, basically what we have two carved items. We have slow roasted turkey, and we also have a ham with a pecan glaze. Our fish item tonight is going to be a roasted salmon. We have buttermilk, mashed potatoes, which we make everything from scratch.
There's also plenty of comfort food, like 30 pounds of traditional green bean casserole, and 40 pounds of sweet potatoes with mini marshmallows on top. From this kitchen, Disney caters parties for up to 4,000 people a night. But even with those massive portions, they always know just how much to make.
It's kind of broken down into a science. We actually have a computer program that helps us do that.
At the same time, workers begin decking out the room, covering each table with 3 tablecloths and tying gold bows on the back of every chair. In a matter of hours, the rotunda is glowing and guests are greeted by the king and queen of Disney. After plenty of pictures, it's time to chow down on a buffet-style meal. Carving stations serving up 8 30-pound turkeys and 6 18-pound hams serve as the main course.
In my opinion, the showstopper, and it seems like it always is, are the interactive stations, the carving station.
And with carolers strolling around the tables,
here in the open, we're walking and hoping together.
It's a party these people won't soon forget.
It was fabulous. This is just over and above. It's Disney quality.
The holidays are magical, and if anybody can create the magic of the holidays, it's Disney, and that's why we chose them.
Walking in a winter wonderland.
Coming up in our next half hour of holidays at Walt Disney World Resort, the framework for a giant gingerbread house is in place. But how will the chefs cover it with cookies? We'll uncover their surprising recipe for creamy cement. And then, the big house is such a hit, see how you can take home a more manageable version when we continue. Each day during the holiday season, thousands of families flock to Walt Disney World Resort, and Disney doesn't scrimp on the decorations. Each of the 4 theme parks, the Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, Disney MGM Studios, and Epcot, are adorned with a giant holiday tree towering up to 70 feet high and weighing in at up to 32,000 pounds.
Welcome back to a 1-hour holiday celebration at Walt Disney World Resort. Earlier, we saw the sweet beginnings of an enormous gingerbread house being built right here in the Grand Floridian lobby. And now we're ready for the main part, putting on the gingerbread. Now, there's a trick to getting these to stick, and did I mention they use over 10,000 pieces? Watch.
It started with just a set of plans, and after 6 days of hammering and nailing, a Victorian mansion has risen in the Grand Floridian lobby.
The Grand Floridian is designed through the Victorian style, and that's what I mainly looked for in this type of design for the house.
As quaint as the little wooden cottage is now, it's about to get even cuter as it transforms into a real-life gingerbread house. Back in August, the chefs in the Disney kitchens began baking up nearly 2,000 pounds of gingerbread. Just before Thanksgiving, they began putting on the edible siding. A team of bakers and decorators hit the lobby, setting up for the unique construction project. Armed with crates of cookies, the bakers climb right onto the roof and scrunch into the tiny front porch. It'll take them 4 days to completely cover the 18-foot wide gingerbread house.
We have to finish this before Christmas, you know?
The process begins by carefully cutting each cookie to fit into every nook and cranny.
You just measure it and cut it to where you want it, and then once it's to the size that you want it, then you just apply it on.
And holding it in place, melt-in-your-mouth mortar made from royal icing.
Royal icing is one of the stiffest icings you can use, and it's almost like a cement.
The icing is made in massive 80-pound batches. In all, 600 pounds of powdered sugar and 140 pints of egg whites go into the icing. Consistency is key for this frosting.
I'm just basically checking if it's not too soft, because if it's too soft, it will slide off from the house.
It's going to take a lot of icing to complete this project, 500 pounds worth in all. The icing packs into large pastry bags for squeezing directly onto the siding. Also helping everything stick, chocolate on the back of each piece of gingerbread.
You want it to be able to have a smooth surface to apply it onto the royal icing.
There are different shapes for each section of the house, from long slats for the sides and floor to small decorative squares and hearts. Whatever the shape, even the pros can't resist sneaking a bite. Soon the walls are taking shape and it's time to raise the roof.
It's like Lincoln Logs for the little kids, but massive size.
Finishing off the roof are curved, trim pieces. Heating them with a small blowtorch helps the gingerbread tiles mold and stick. By now, the aroma of gingerbread is filling the entire hotel lobby.
Can you smell it? Does it smell good?
And the fragrant construction is drawing quite a crowd.
We have guests coming from all over the world that actually plan their holiday visit around seeing the gingerbread house being constructed.
Now all they need are the finishing touches, which we'll catch up with later. But here's a question. What will go on inside the gingerbread house? Well, it becomes a place to pick up. Thank you. What else? A home of your very own. Just like this one. And chefs are busy this time of year constantly making them up, and we get a chance to watch them work.
Pastry chef Stefan Reamer and his team of bakers at Disney's Yacht and Beach Club Resort bake up enough gingerbread houses to fill an entire neighborhood. Each batch begins with a honey-sweetened dough.
The gingerbread contains like 80% honey. It's very soft, a lot of spices.
Using special cookie cutters, the bakers carve out dozens of walls, doors, roofs, and chimneys, each piece getting a spray of egg wash for shine before heading into the oven for 10 minutes. As soon as the hot gingerbread comes out of the oven, Stefan begins brushing it with a sugary glaze.
This is to seal the gingerbread, to keep the flavor inside, prevents drying out.
After cooling, the bottoms get a coating of melted chocolate, and then it's time to start building.
I'm using royal icing and, of course, the gingerbread pieces.
One wall at a time, the little house starts to come together. The roof attaches all at once.
The house is basically together.
And of course, Santa needs a chimney to slide down.
This kind of helps stabilize the roof.
With the door attached, the decorating begins.
It's where all the oohs and ahs start.
Frosting provides a snowy look and creates the illusion of icicles hanging from the roof and windows. Candies and cookies provide the finishing touch. Disney's bakers can put together one of these fancy houses in a matter of minutes, making about 500 of them every year. Selling for about $25 a piece, eager guests buy them up from a few shops around the resort, and although these delicate houses aren't made for mailing, they are carefully packed for tourists wanting to hand carry one home.
When we sell these gingerbread houses, we always attach the story of the gingerbread plus our recipe. So there are no secrets, because the good chefs always like to share.
The pros make decorating these look so easy and fun, so my friends and I decided to try and decorate our very own. Whew. And let me tell you, it is not as easy as it looks. I'll let you guys handle that. Okay, we're gonna stay here and finish, and you stick around as well, because coming up we have some more delicious displays, this time in Africa and the tropical islands. Plus, what's on the menu for Christmas dinner? Find out when we continue.
During the holidays, Disney is lit up like nowhere else. More than 8 million lights are strung across the parks and parades.
Welcome back and happy holidays. I'm Symone, tasting my way through a special hour of seasonal sweets at Walt Disney World. Right now I'm at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, and we're about to go behind the scenes to watch how an entire village comes together. Only this is a tiny little village created out of candy, and it takes an expert touch to make it come to life.
Roaming outside the Boma restaurant in Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge are lions and hippos and bananas. Each year, the chef here creates an entire African village, complete with 50 wild animals.
The whole village is completely edible.
From the birds, to the trees, to the buildings, and even the rocks, all of it is edible.
The rocks are made out of sugar. The kente cloth and the fruits and vegetables and the animals are all made out of modeling chocolate. The bushes are made out of spaghetti.
Chef Edward Villacorta spends about a month creating this authentic African display out of 80 pounds of sugar and 50 pounds of chocolate.
What we do is we depict structure or a natural wonder from Africa, and we recreate it in chocolate, gingerbread, sugar, pretzel, spaghetti, anything that's edible.
This year, the mini model features Victoria Falls.
The water is made out of poured sugar, blue sugar. The waterfalls is actually pipe royal icing.
The massive mud mosques of the Ivory Coast tower over the scene. They're made out of bread dough covered in icing. Uncooked spaghetti makes great bushes. And no African village would be complete without a marketplace.
This gives us a chance to make miniature fruits and vegetables.
All the freshly picked produce is sculpted from moldable, modeling chocolate.
This is like Play-Doh. You roll it with your fingers, and then you place them on top of each other like a bunch of bananas.
Even the grass is specially grown from green chocolate.
You get a sifter. And what you do is you get this piece of modeling chocolate and you press it through the sifter. When you're done, you should get a scraper and you scrape off the grass from the sifter. There you go, there's your grass.
And roaming the plains, enough animals for a small safari. There are 5 lions, 6 hippos, countless crocodiles, giant tortoises, and a flock of chickens. There's even an entire herd of elephants.
All you need to do is to get gray colored modeling chocolate. This is going to be the body of the elephant, and I start a round shape for the head. Then you stick the head right here, and you go with the trunk. The elephant I could do, like as you see, maybe about a minute.
After building the village back in the kitchen, it's ready to go on display. Separated into 2 sections, it takes several people to carefully carry each part of the village from the kitchen across a small bridge to its perch on an indoor riverbank. Once safely in place, Chef Ed applies a few finishing touches, and soon guests begin gathering to take a gander at this amazing edible artwork.
It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. All the details, the small little details, and it's all eatable. I can't believe it.
Now we're going to travel from one village to another, this time in the Polynesian islands. Check out some palm trees you can really sink your teeth into.
On this island, you get a real taste of the tropics. This is a replica of Disney's Polynesian resort, including its centerpiece, the Great Ceremonial House.
We tried to keep it to look like the grounds here as much as we could.
It sits on the second floor of the Polynesian Hotel, but unlike the real resort, this one is completely edible.
We went ahead and made sand from sugar. We made grass out of coconut. We went ahead and made a volcano from sugar rock.
The big house is made of gingerbread, and the surrounding tiki huts are built from pretzels with shredded wheat thatching the roofs. The Polynesian chef, William Clark, designed this delicious look-alike from the ground up.
While making the village, we really tried to get the effect as much as we could to the Polynesian islands and how they would celebrate Christmas.
But the islands have never looked or tasted like this. Ever seen a chocolate palm tree?
Basically, I'm just doing my leaves, my palm fronds, and then the stems themselves.
For a quick set, he uses something called freeze spray.
This is just some cold compressed air, similar to what you would use for a keyboard for a computer, but it's just made mostly for chocolate work.
There are 125 chocolate palm trees in all swaying in the breeze. Royal icing makes a realistic-looking volcano, and lava rocks are created by cooking sugar bubbling hot.
I have the royal icing that I'm going to go ahead and place in. Quickly, a couple drops of color. Give this a light mix with my whip, okay? Now I'm gonna let this go ahead, will rise on its own while the sugar is incorporating with the royal icing.
At first, it looks like a science experiment.
It's the reaction of the egg whites to the boiled syrup of water and sugar.
But once it calms down, the crumbly mix pours out onto a cookie sheet, cooling into sugary lava rocks. Luckily, making Christmas trees doesn't require a degree in chemistry, just an artful eye.
And we like to use these cones, these little ice cream cones. And I have some royal icing in this pastry bag with a little star tip.
Once the cone is evergreen, let it snow.
And we'll give it for a little wintry effect.
For Santa's sleigh, melted chocolate pours into a special mold. More chocolate acts as glue, cementing the sleigh together, and then colorful modeling chocolate forms the tiny gifts. With the individual pieces ready, the chef assembles his island paradise. And now it's time to activate the volcano.
I'm gonna add some hot water and some dry ice.
With Mount Candy erupting, the last few holiday trees are added to the display, along with the finishing touch, a miniature monorail train, just like the one running through the original Polynesian resort. Making this intricate island was no breeze, taking 120 hours of hard work and 75 pounds of gingerbread. But it makes a real treat for the eyes.
Every year we come to see the decorations. It puts us in the spirit.
Now, like many of the displays at Disney, this one has a few hidden Mickeys. You've seen them already, but might not have noticed. Look closer at these coconuts to see what I mean. When holidays at Walt Disney World Resort continues, the chefs unveiled their gingerbread mansion and sit down to Christmas dinner with a few of Mickey Mouse's closest friends. That's just ahead.
The wine experience will make your holidays bright. For your parties and gifts, we bring you joy and delight. Fine wines, gourmet foods, and cheeses galore. The gift of good taste you'll find at our store. Gift ideas shouldn't bring fear. Our personalized gift baskets always bring cheer. Want something dry, fruity, or sweet? Then it's our head wine guy you should meet. May your shopping be done, may the roads be clear. From all of us at the Wine Experience, we wish you happy holidays and a festive new year.
The time is finally here to watch our massive gingerbread house get its finishing touches. So far, it's taken around 400 hours to bake all the gingerbread. Then comes another 160 hours to get it looking pretty. So, let's watch these special home decorators spruce up this sugar shack.
If you've got a serious sweet tooth, you've come to the right place. Sitting in the lobby of Disney's Grand Floridian Resort is the biggest gingerbread house you've probably ever seen. Spanning 18 feet, this is one mouth-watering sight.
Looks good.
But the chefs at Disney are sprucing it up even more. Back in the kitchen, the bakers have been busy building delicious decorations. From candy canes to snowmen, each is carefully crafted and completely edible. Most are made of solid white chocolate and painted by hand with edible paints.
We're just coloring them with cocoa butter and food coloring.
They must complete a small army of 35 toy soldiers. And of course, Old St. Nick has a starring role in this production.
He's made of solid white chocolate. He weighs approximately 85 pounds. What I do is I take the chocolate plastic, which is just a fancy name for Tootsie Rolls, and we can color it any color that we want. I cut out a piece and then lay it on there.
Once Santa is finally dressed right down to his boots, he's carefully carried out to the gingerbread house and put front and center on the porch. There are 15 Santas in all. Meanwhile, the house's creator, pastry chef Eric Herbacek, is putting the finishing touches on his design.
We're gonna decorate the whole house with poinsettia flowers all around. They are made out of sugar.
Green icing provides a leafy bed for the flowers, while white icing helps cement the candy canes to the wall. White chocolate is also used in creating delicate window decorations.
One of my real favorites is like all these chocolate paintings we have, the Goofy or Mickey Mouse and Minnie. So we really paint them from scratch by hand.
And what would the holidays be without snow? Well, they don't get much here in sunny Florida, so Chef Eric improvises. A cherry picker carries him high into the clouds, and a fresh dusting of snow covers the gingerbread house. It's actually powdered sugar, and it takes 600 pounds of it to create a wintry feel.
I spray them with sugar syrup and then I dust it with powdered sugar so the sugar syrup actually is so that the sugar doesn't slide off.
Next, Eric places Disney's signature super secret hidden Mickeys.
I have 25 of them. Our guests like to look for them.
Cool.
It's pretty cool. The decorations are amazing.
Many people even make a special trip just for a glimpse of this edible attraction.
I've never seen anything like this before.
I would eat the whole thing. Now the house becomes a holiday store, selling treats like Mickey cookies, chocolates, and mini replicas of this mansion.
It's completely edible. That's marzipan.
You can even take a bite out of an actual gingerbread shingle, just like the ones on the outside.
I think I want a shingle because I want something that looks just like this to take home and remember.
560 man-hours went into this magical creation, but despite all that work, it comes down on January 2nd.
Okay, we've had plenty of dessert today, but what about dinner? Thousands of people sit down to Christmas at Walt Disney World, and here at the 50s Primetime Cafe, they're serving up all the traditional meal with all of the fixings.
There you go, Missy. Now set your table. Put your napkin on your lap. If not, you have to wear a bib. Okay? Now behave, dear.
Just like home. While I eat this, check out what else is on Mickey's holiday menu.
Don't forget your vegetables.
It's a magical end to a magical day. After taking in all that Disney has to offer over the holidays, many guests top off their visit to the theme parks with a special dinner. At the Liberty Tree Tavern, families sit down to a traditional holiday feast.
It tasted just like homemade. It was so good.
Back in the kitchen, all of the food is homemade, just on a bigger scale.
On a typical night for us at Liberty Tree Tavern, we serve about 1,000 guests.
And the amount of food served each night during the holiday jumps up about 36%. That means preparing nearly 350 pounds of mashed potatoes, over 100 pounds of carrots, around 300 pounds of mac and cheese, and nearly 450 pounds of meat, made up of turkey, ham, and beef. Although the grown-ups come for the food, the kids come for the company. The Liberty Tree Tavern is one of the restaurants where you can dine with the stars, like Minnie Mouse, Goofy, and Chip and Dale. If seafood is more your style, the Cape May restaurant at Disney's Yacht and Beach Club offers a New England-style clam bake. On an average night, the restaurant cooks up 350 pounds of shrimp, clams, and mussels. But during the holidays, that number jumps up to 750 pounds.
Crab legs is awesome. I love crab legs, and the mussels were awesome too.
The most popular pick? Clams. Customers shuck through 300 pounds every night.
We always come and I'll do clams almost the whole time I'm here.
And for dessert, a decadent spread of cookies, pies, and cakes. During the holidays, Santa takes a stand atop Cape May's signature dessert, Oreo bonbons. For a more formal dinner, Disney's Wilderness Lodge offers the Artist's Point restaurant. Although it has a rustic feel, the food here is anything but. Chef Lenny DeGeorge smokes the meat himself, much of it right off the range.
We get our buffalo in from North Dakota. It's an absolutely fabulous piece of meat. For us, it's as popular as beef.
The lodge serves up 80 buffalo steaks a night during the holidays and a total of 15,000 pounds a year. There are more than 300 different places to dine across Walt Disney World Resort, and more people are capping off their Christmas vacation with a dinner to remember.
Okay, I am stuffed, and that's all we have time to serve up for now. Thanks for watching and Seasons Eatings. I'm Raven Symone. Happy holidays to all.